Welcome back to Gentleman's Corner, guys. My name is David. Today I have a cigar review for you. And the cigar which I will be reviewing is this, the Brickhouse Connecticut. And this is the Brickhouse Connecticut Robusto. So I'm going to go ahead and bust this open. This is my first time smoking this cigar. I've had some trouble getting a hold of it. Oddly enough, I live in Military City, USA. And the soldiers absolutely love Brickhouse Connecticut's. And so most of the boxes that we have shipped here usually get sent to the bases first. And then whatever we have left goes to the retail stores. Or you'll have people that come off a base and they will go to the retail shops and they will buy them in just droves. So they're not always available at my local shop, but I'll cover where they are available online in just a second. And they're available from most major retailers online. I use pipesandcigars.com, so my prices are based off of them, but it's going to hold true for most places that you go online. So real quickly, just so you can get a good look at it, there it is. So very nice, just kind of general cream Connecticut color. Mine's got just a little bit of tear in the wrapper here. But shouldn't affect the smoke too much. It's got this beautiful American flag footband with the Connecticut. So overall, good looking cigar. This has got a very nice, looks like a triple cap. So nice velvety texture, kind of has a dry leaf texture, which is fitting because we're in fall, winter. So the leaves are going to have that kind of velvety, sandy kind of texture. Just a general kind of tobacco smell. Smells just like a cigar. Very pleasant, kind of a barnyard. So I'm going to try and get this footband off here without tearing anything. Come on. There it goes. So this is, as I said, the Connecticut Robusto Brickhouse, made by J.C. Newman Cigar Company at pipesandcigars.com, but this will hold generally true for most retailers. These are available in Churchill, Corona Larga, Gordo, Robusto, Torpedo, and Toro. The torpedoes in these are a short torpedo, so they're going to only be, I think it's 5 inches. The Robusto I'm smoking today is a 5x54, and for the Robusto size, on pipesandcigars.com they go for $143 for a box of 25, $30 for a 5-pack, or $643 per stick. And of course, prices will vary depending on which retailer you use. So I'm going to go ahead and get this punched using just a little keychain punch cutter. But before we light up here, it's got a nice firm pack all the way through, just a little bit of give, but not a whole lot. Looks just like a nice, really dense pack all the way through. Draws a little tight, but not bad. I think it's going to be a pretty good draw. If it's too loose, I'm a fast smoker and I tend to overdo it. So we'll go ahead and get this toasted. Today I'm using my Colibri, I think it's Colibri, might be Cigar, I don't know. But it's the Firebird 3-burner. Okay. So right off the bat, the flavor on this is very sweet. And it's not artificial sweetness, it's a very natural tobacco sweetness, but it's definitely got some flavor to it. Creamy. The smoke is a little bit rough, but overall very pleasant. Some caramel notes, a little bit of chocolate, kind of a milk chocolate, but still pretty good. So I'm going to smoke this into the first third, and we will see how it goes from there. Alrighty guys, so we are mostly into the first third, and the flavor has remained fairly consistent, and I'm not expecting any changes before I reach the end of the third, so I feel comfortable talking about it at this point. Most of what I'm getting right now is it's hard to describe because it's like a mix between oats and hay. There's kind of a honey element. There's definitely a chocolate element. There's definitely a dessert note in this cigar. And I keep getting like a milk chocolate. And it reminds me of the chocolate that they use to make Kit Kat bars. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, is that that very sort of acidic milk chocolate. And it's very, very pleasant. It's very, very sweet. And it's definitely not what I was expecting from Brickhouse. Because I think I reviewed the original Brickhouse a while back on the channel, and that would have been easily 2 years ago. And I don't really remember much about it, other than it was kind of medium-bodied, general tobacco flavor, but other than that, there's just not a whole lot about it. It comes in a natural wrapper, so there wasn't anything too crazy about it. This, on the other hand, is creamy, it is sweet, and it's got some definite dessert notes. I can see why this is so popular, especially with guys that don't really smoke cigars a lot. This doesn't taste like tobacco. There are tobacco notes, but it's not just like straight tobacco. Update on the build and construction. The burn is absolutely perfect. It was a little bit lopsided when I first lit up the cigar, and part of that was probably just a bad light. I'm in a windy environment, and so it's not easy to get a consistent light with one of these 3-flame lighters. So that possibly could have been my fault. I've done a little bit of touch-up right in that first couple of puffs, and it has otherwise pretty much corrected itself. The ash is this beautiful salt and pepper with a very nice kind of general coin stack. So it looks very, very nice. Before I ash it, let me show you all something that I just got today. And that is this ashtray. So you can see there with the siding and everything. So that's a really, really nice ashtray that I got. At all places, of all places, Goodwill, for $4, or excuse me, $2.99. So it's $3 and change after tax. Great little ashtray. So amazing the things that you can find when you go to these secondhand stores. But anyway, getting back to the cigar. Overall, very, very nice construction. The only problem I have with it, and this is the only complaint I'm going to make right now, is the construction's a bit tight. It is a firm pack, and I'm having trouble getting a bunch of smoke out of it. The smoke, as you've been seeing me puff on camera here, is, you know, light, kind of airy, not really thick and copious the way that I like my smoke to be, but otherwise, it's very flavorful. So like I said, my only real complaint is I'm not getting copious amounts of smoke, but otherwise I feel like the flavor makes up for that. So I'm going to continue, and I'll update you at the half. Alrighty guys, we are now approaching the halfway point. We are about 30 minutes in, and we're now hitting the halfway point. You can see that I no longer have the long, beautiful ash that I did earlier. That proceeded to fall directly in my lap. So the ash did fall off in a nice solid chunk, and even when it hit the ground, it was still a nice solid cylinder with a little bit of dusting from it. So overall, the construction is wonderful on these cigars, or at least on this stick. Now, flavor has definitely shifted. I know I didn't mention it before. This is a United States Ecuador, or a United States shade wrapper, Connecticut shade. And then if I remember correctly, the binder and filler are both Nicaraguan. I know the filler is. I can't remember if the binder is or isn't. But the flavors have definitely shifted. So earlier I was getting a lot of, oats and hay and chocolate, and it was very desserty and mild and sweet. It has ramped up to a medium-bodied stick, whereas earlier it was kind of medium light-bodied. So now it is definitely a solid medium, and the flavors have shifted away. The chocolate, for instead of being a milk chocolate, is now definitely a dark chocolate or cocoa flavor. It's still there, but it is not as sweet as it was. Additionally, the hay has all but disappeared. The hay and oats is all but gone. And what we're left with is kind of a toasty tobacco flavor. It's very much what I expected from Brickhouse when I first lit this up. And it's not at all unpleasant, but it definitely is much more meat and potatoes, as opposed to a dessert stick. So it's definitely shifted. The burn time on this is really, really wonderful. Again, this is a 5x54, and we're already approaching a half hour at the halfway point. I'm expecting this to burn between 45 and 55 minutes at the rate that I am smoking it. Overall, the volume of smoke has not increased. As you saw at the beginning of this segment, it's still just kind of it's there, but it's not. Sometimes it's taking a couple of puffs to really keep the cherry alive, and some of that is just me being impatient and wanting the big copious clouds of smoke. But overall, it really is a solid stick. So I'm very impressed so far for a $7 stick. I really can't complain. I will keep chugging along, and as I get into the final third, I will come back to you. Alrighty guys, I'm now to the point where I need to take off the top band. See if I can do that without damaging. Yes! Came off in one nice piece and didn't take any of the wrapper with it. So I am now in what I consider to be the last third for me. And we are approaching 45 minutes. So 45 minutes on a Robusto on a 5-inch, not bad. If you're hearing any screaming in the background, that is my wife watching the Kansas City Chiefs playing the New England Patriots. My wife is an avid Chiefs fan and has been since childhood, and you can understand probably why I'm out here smoking instead of in there with her. Watching games with her can be a roller coaster. She's very, very passionate, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. But anyway, getting back to this cigar. Flavor shift again. So when I last left you, sweetness was gone, and we were into dark cocoa notes. Okay, that has since completely gone. There's still just an ever so slight ghost of that flavor in the background. But not nearly what it used to be. Most of what I'm getting now is medium to full-bodied, just tobacco smoke. And it's very good, but there's just not a whole lot of depth to it. It's not very complex. It's not very much of anything. I had mentioned at the beginning of all of this that there was a tight draw on this stick in particular, and it could just be this particular stick. It could be systemic. I don't know. But part of that is I've been having to draw fairly hard and fairly quick to try and get the cherry up so that I can get the amount of smoke that I'm desiring. And a couple of times that has led to a pretty sour taste in my mouth. And it's not the cigar's fault. It's mine for being impatient. But it's just another thing to consider when you're looking at buying one of these. Make sure that you feel and check the pack and see how firm it is. This was pretty firm when I took it out of my humidor, despite being stored at the right humidity and temperature. But yeah, overall it has smoked like a champ. I did have to touch it up on this side just once, just to try and even out the burn a little bit, but overall it's been very pleasant. So there's just a very mild tobacco sweetness to it. And other than that, just very dark, rich tobacco notes. So this has really been a very transitional stick. And for that, for $7, I'm really impressed. It started out very dessert-like, very chocolatey, milk chocolate, hay and oats. And I would have liked to have seen that continue through to the end of the cigar. But, you know, I've often complained on the channel that one-note cigars can be fairly boring to me, and that's true if I'm not enjoying what the flavor is, or if it's not terribly interesting. The first third of this to me was very interesting. The second third was more what I expected, and then the final third is definitely a little bit more simple. You know, I don't really have any major complaints about it. The flavor overall has been very pleasant. The burn characteristics, much better than I was expecting. So overall, I give this a solid A-. I can see why this is such a popular stick and why it is so gosh darn hard to get a hold of. I can't talk today. I blame the cigar. For those of you who are wary of nicotine hits, this does not have it. I'm just now in the final third starting to get just the ever so slightest hint that there is even nicotine in this. I was pretty convinced during the first and second third that it was not going to happen at all. So I'm just barely starting to notice it, which for me is fine because I don't have a high nicotine tolerance. So overall, yeah, good cigar. If you have had this cigar, leave a comment in the comment section below telling me what your impressions were of it. Maybe the first time that you smoked it. What did you think of it? But other than that, that's all I've really got for y'all. So if you've enjoyed this review, please hit like. If you'd like to see more of my reviews, please hit subscribe. And please do hit the notification button next to the subscribe button. It looks like a little bell, and it will send you a notification anytime I upload a new video. If you'd like to connect with me on other social media, and I highly suggest that you do, there are the links to my Instagram and Twitter in the description box below this video. Other than that, guys, this has been a cigar review on Gentleman's Corner. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are and whenever you're watching this. And other than that, have a good one.